Right then, let's talk about alcohol then, shall we? You have no idea how many times that took to get right. So alcohol is a massive thing in today's society. Obviously, if you also live in England, exactly like me, drinking culture is pretty mad. And at the end of the day, I'm all here for it. Much like the majority of people, I love a bev as much as the next person. But the question arises, how can you fit this bad boy into a weight loss journey without giving up, without sacrificing it, and ultimately without making yourself feel guilty? Just as a note, just for reference, I'm not encouraging you to go out and drink. I'm just saying if you do want to lose weight, but you're a little bit unsure on how you can fit this into that weight loss journey, then this video is going to help you with exactly that. And if you want any more tips exactly like this, make sure that you're either following me or subscribed. So we all know the ins and outs of alcohol. We drink it to, feel a little bit more confident, to lose our inhibitions, to have a little bit of a boogie on the dance floor, to miss the bright side, to text your ex. It's just one of them things that basically turn, in my opinion, a good night into a great night. And people assume that when they're trying to lose weight, that they have to give it up completely. Now, don't get me wrong. If you did give up alcohol completely, it would make your weight loss journey a hell of a lot easier. And the reason being is because alcohol, much like any other food, contains calories. And obviously, the majority of people mix their alcohol with certain other things, which also contain calories. So let's say you drink nothing but pints of beer, and you drink, 10 pints of beer a week. Now, a pint of beer contains roughly about 180 calories, sometimes 200, depending on which brand. For the sake of maths, we'll say 180. So if you drink 10 pints of lager a week, that's 1,800 calories that you're intaking over the course of the week, which isn't food, which isn't satiating, which doesn't really fuel you. It just turns you into a little bit of a mess. It's 1,800 calories that you can conserve over the course of the week without cutting out any other food. So if you cut out alcohol completely, you're going to conserve a lot of calories, which will make creating that calorie deficit a hell of a lot easier. But for the majority of people, once again, cutting out alcohol completely probably wouldn't be ideal. And just like any foods which you could potentially cut out completely, there are ways to include it within your diet but still make consistent progress. So firstly, just be a little bit more mindful about what it is that you're drinking. If we take the beer example, which I've just given, and you substitute every single pint of beer, all 10 pints of beer, for a vodka and diet coke, so a spirit and a diet mixer, which are about 50 calories, then instead of consuming 1,800 calories, which you would have with the beer, you've actually only consumed 500 calories with the vodka and diet mixer. So you've literally just substituted the drink, you've changed the drink, and now are consuming less calories. Like, do you really need to drink 6, 7, 8 cocktails in the night? Or could you potentially have 2 cocktails and then go to a vodka and diet mixer? Or any kind of spirit and diet mixer? Gin and slimline tonic if you're in the gin hype currently. Rum and diet coke, vodka, lemonade and lime. Secondly, if you're anything like me who has about 6 or 7 and then loses all sense of direction and sight, then you most probably don't want to be on the dance floor in the middle of pop world tracking what you've been drinking. So make it a little bit easier for yourself. Track everything you're going to drink before you go out, because what can be measured can be managed. And if you've actually planned on drinking a certain amount, you're going to be more likely to actually adhere to the amount that you've planned, rather than just winging it and then finding out you've smashed off 12 drinks throughout the night. Plan on drinking 5, 6, 7 vodka diet mixes, for example. Log that into MyFitnessPal before you go out. Then you don't have to worry about logging any of these drinks, and you've most probably accounted for what you are going to drink. But if you're the kind of person that always drinks more than planned, then there is also the possibility that you could input what's called a calorie buffer. And a calorie buffer is literally just a lump sum of calories designed to account for an overspend. So before a night out, I usually like to, whack in 2,000 calories into MyFitnessPal in order to account for the amount of alcohol that I'm going to drink. Most often, that is usually an overestimation, but it's always better to overestimate than underestimate. Imagine if you were going to a car dealership and the car dealer said it's going to be somewhere between £1,000 and £2,000 to buy this car. Would you rather go with £2,000 and definitely be able to buy it with the potential that you're actually going to be left with some change, or go with £1,000 and have the possibility that he's going to turn around and go, no, it's much more expensive than that? So it's always better to overestimate, because there's a chance that you may actually come under that without even knowing it. And finally, make better choices around the actual drinking itself. So when you're on a night out, for example, do you walk to where you need to go, or do you just get a taxi all the time? Do you actually spend time dancing on the dance floor, or do you sit in the corner sipping on a drink, sitting down talking to people? Go out and dance, don't be boring. After the night out, do you go and get a takeaway? And if so, what do you get? Do you get a large pizza with chips and ultimately realise after about 10 minutes that you've ordered way too much and you're overly full? Instead of doing that, get a smaller portion, get a small pizza, or opt for a different takeaway such as a Mackey's and get yourself a mayo chicken and a cheeseburger instead of a large meal with a mayo chicken chaser. Make smarter, more supportive, better choices when it comes to drinking alcohol, or the night out in general. Like, spend that day doing normal stuff which you do in a normal day, such as going for a walk, going to the gym, walk to the shops to buy your pre-drinks instead of getting a taxi or driving there. Keep active throughout the day, get them steps in, and make smarter choices on the night out, and you'll find that you can include alcohol within your diet and still make consistent fat loss progress for life without sacrificing it. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like. If you've got any questions, feel free to comment below. I'd be more than happy to talk. And if you want to catch some more content exactly like this, make sure that you're either subscribed to me or following me. Have a good one. Take care.